everyone, Katherine Jarris here. Pronouns are they, them, and theirs. I am a professional psychic and I'm a professional brow artist. And this channel, Psychic Brows, is where I combine both. This week's series is called Crossing Over, 7 Things I've Learned as a Psychic Medium. And today's topic that we'll be going over is called Can't Demand Who We Get to Talk to. Okay, so this comes up a lot because obviously if someone's booking a psychic medium reading session because they want to connect with a loved one or someone who they care about who's passed, they obviously want to connect with that specific person. 100%, I get it. I hear ya, I feel ya, and I will do everything in my power that isn't much, by the way, but because you're about to hear this, I don't get to control any of it. So my power is pretty much 0 and nil in this. And I get that if you have your heart set on talking to a specific person, it can be super disappointing if they don't come through. So I want to go over a few things with that. One, just to kind of what to expect when you want to do a psychic reading, mediumship reading, and 2, how that could possibly go or why it would go a different way than you wanted or desired when you scheduled it. Okay? All right. So obviously we have free will. Yes, we can all agree on that. My guides often love to remind me and tell me that it is one of the greatest gifts that we were given. And then they always very often add right in addition to things like taste and touch and all those things too. But free will, that is one of our greatest gifts. And here's the deal. When we die, we don't lose our free will. Just because somebody has passed doesn't mean they fail to have free will in their life anymore. And what that means is we can definitely ask and request that someone specific come through that you're hoping to connect with and reach out to, but I cannot demand that somebody come through. I cannot make that happen. I literally cannot do anything in a reading session. I am as powerless as they come. And so there's reasons for that. And so it's important to understand it because, again, I get it can be disappointing if it's not who you want to talk to that comes through. So there are many reasons that who you want to converse with isn't coming through. And I always tell everyone, look, I'll tell you right away if it's happening or it's not. And that's just all there is to it. But you may have a plan in your head. I mean, let's be clear here. We're humans. We pretty much all always have a plan, right? We pretty much all think we know how we want things to go, and we plot it out and we try to make that happen. And here's the thing. When you get out of this physical world, good luck with those plans because you're not in the same type of energy space. The time is weird. I said it before. It's not really there, and that's as much as I can explain it to you, because that's as much as I have at this moment. I'm sure somebody else could explain it more, but for me, the clearest I can just say is it doesn't exist in the way that it exists for us here. And so you may have a plan that you want to do things. We often do here on Earth. But the universe, and that's how I'm going to refer to it in this video, has its own things going on. And your plan, as much as you're attached to it and as much as you want it to be the way that it is, it may not be the plan that the universe has for you. And that's just what it comes down to. And there are reasons for that. But what I can tell you is you may not always know them. They are always in your best interest and they're always in your well-being. You are always going to be put ahead on that, okay? So nothing is going to be done that is less than ideal for you. And so if somebody doesn't come through, it may possibly be that as much as you want it to happen right now, it's not the best thing for you right now, no matter what you think. There may be other things that you have to explore and get into and understand and delayer before having that connection will actually bring forth the bounty or the growth that it's supposed to. Otherwise, it could just be like, great, there was a connection and you're still devastated and it didn't do anything to deal with some of this precursor stuff that was going on. However, if you delayer first and deal some of that other stuff first, then when you're able to connect with that person, you're actually able to fully take in that experience for what it is and continue to heal from that as well. So I get it. It may not be your plan, but sometimes that's just how it goes. We don't get to call the plan. Now, there's another reason they may not be able to come through. They may just be busy. It's bizarre sometimes when I explain this to people, but when people pass, there's all kinds of things going on. Sometimes people are still in a healing phase when they cross over, depending on how they pass, if they were surprised or not, if they were wanting to, if they have something that's holding them back a little bit. People can be in a little longer duration time of healing. You know, it varies from person to person. So they may not be ready to talk with someone depending on where they're at. And I've spoken of this before. There's times where there is literally in 100% full healing. It takes energy for them to connect with us. And if they're not capable of that because their energy is going towards where they need to be, they can't also do that, okay? So sometimes the timing just isn't right yet, okay? There's another reason. Sometimes they're doing other things. They have, I don't know if jobs is the way I want to say it, but they have things going on, okay? And I have seen people that, if for lack of a better way of saying it, they do get new jobs, positions, things that they're doing and they're helping and they're in charge of in this mass universe way that we all are coinciding in. So there are times where they may not be able to. There may be something that's going on that they have to be at instead. That does happen as well. And here's the last one. Free will. They may not want to, and that's okay too. Think about it here on Earth when maybe you've had a falling out with someone and you're like, okay, all right, I've had time to process this. I'm over it. I got it. Okay, we're good. I'm ready. And then you try to connect with that person, and guess what? They're not ready because they're not at the same spot that you are. And they're like, nah, I'm not quite ready to go hang out with you yet. There's some more, I need some more time, right? Just because people pass doesn't mean they lose their free will, and it doesn't mean that they're not allowed time that they need as well, okay? And it doesn't mean that it's anything personal with you either. My goodness, there's so many things that it could be attached to. Okay? And guess what? There are times where it is actually attached to the person who wants to do the reading. And that wouldn't be, in my opinion, a surprise to someone if that was the case, because it was something they were more than likely dealing with before it happened. But here's the deal. I cannot think of a time that if the person who was being requested to come through didn't come through, that someone else failed to. And what I mean is, typically, it may not be the person that you wanted, that was your desire, that why your focus of being there. But I honestly, in this moment, I could be wrong, but I can't think of a time that at least someone else didn't come through. And I'll start describing that person, and the person would be like, well, that's not my mom. And I'm like, okay, well, this is who's here, so let me continue on with the details that I have until we can figure out who it is. And they'll be like, that sounds exactly like my grandma. Okay. And then we go from there. Here's the deal. If your grandma is the one that came through, there's a reason for it. And requesting that people come through, requesting that they make the effort and the energy and the connection to do that is just that. It's a request, and it deserves manners, and it deserves honoring whomever is coming through. And yes, sometimes it may be disappointing, but say you were expecting your mom to come over to your house and your mom didn't show up, but your grandma did. Are you just gonna slam the door in your grandma's face and be like, well, you're not who I thought was coming today? No, you would be a little surprised, but you'd be like, okay, grandma, come in. What's going on? What's up? Why are you here today? This is what I hope that you could see past and bring to a session if somebody else came through, because I 100% guarantee you someone else is coming through. It's very important that they're coming through for you because they have a message for you. They have something that is going to help you to heal in some form from something you may not be focusing on, because you see the piece, the pain that you're trying to get past as point A, when it's actually point C. There's a couple things that happen before that. And getting underneath those first is what helps you and enables you to be able to get to that final point, to get to that main reason of why you wanted to come in the first place. I hope that this wasn't too confusing. I hope that this wasn't, I don't want to say offensive, but hard for anyone in any way. I really hope that what it is that people understand that if they're doing a mediumship reading, you may or may not get the person to come through, and that's okay. If you can look past some maybe, initial disappointment with that, I guarantee you whomever did come through is incredibly important in your life, and you're blessed to have them there, and there's a reason for it. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I wish you well, and I will see you soon.
Hi, thanks for watching. If you'd like more psychic or bra related content, be sure to comment and let me know. Otherwise, I'll see you next time. Take care.